Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new unit analysis and comparisons. I feel like I should make a couple of brief announcements before we jump into, well, the shtick of things. So, you have probably noticed a deficient amount of videos on YouTube. That's expected. I just finished up all my classes teaching. I'm in summer break starting today, and this video might be released a few days from now, so by that time I'm going to be pushing out some more YouTube content. I got some more brainstorming and bigger plans coming up, so more content to come. It's not like everyday YouTube videos like it was in the past, but I'm definitely going to step it up a little bit. However, I am traveling every single month, June, July, August, and September, so there are definitely still going to be gaps in production somewhere, and streams as well if you've been coming to those. Thank you so much for watching the videos as always, and as always, getting involved in the community, whether that's through the comments, through Discord, through the streams, whatever that might be. Okay, and for you guys that are new to the whole unit analysis comparisons, this is what I'm about to jump into, plus any other videos. Remember that what I speak from is a perspective of objectivity, not with bias towards any of these new units. I'm going to do comparisons, but I'm also going to talk strictly about their roles in the highest level gameplay of Fire Emblem Heroes, which is Ether Raids, tier 21 plus, all the way up to tier 27 as consistently as I can. We can consider Astra a big factor in here now. For example, Yarne's a beast, so he's going to generally be better in Astra than he would in Light, because he's going to have easier time transforming with Naga on his team rather than Air, just as like a small example there. And other than that, I'm going to consider unit roles and how they compare. But I'm also going to look at the builds should you happen to pull one of these units and happen to use them or invest them in whatever way that might be. So don't take it too personally if I tell you that Garen is a better Nav. Because yeah, Garen is a better Nav, and you probably shouldn't be pulling for Nav thinking you're going to get the latest and greatest unit because Garen is in the game and he can literally do the same job. So yeah, don't take that personally. It's literally just a way of telling you should look at some of the older units, and if you're going to play this game at a higher level, you should be using some of those older units, because spending orbs is the most lucrative resource in this game, and spending orbs, especially in red, for something that's very similar to another unit in this game is not a wise or efficient decision. With all that being said, let's move on. So I'm showing you the math at the beginning of the video. I'll touch on the math at the end of the video as well in more specifics if you don't understand what these numbers and such mean. A big thank you to Lemure, of course. He produces this in the Discord community. You can also check out the images there. I post them in Discord, and all the other news and tons of good discussions happen there because you guys are all smart. So, if you want some high-level gameplay discussion, Discord's always where I'm at and where a bunch of other good people are. Okie dokie, let's jump into these units, what I think they are, where they stand. So here is Na's stat spread. I don't have the impressions video up as of me recording this, but I did mention there that if Na had a good res stat, she would be good. However, it's not good enough. That's the problem. So Garen is very similar, as I'll show you in just a second. There he is. That's the beefed up one, but I'll show you a beefed up Na as well. Using tanks and AR is actually optimal with bonus doubler and null C disrupt. That's kind of a good way to do it. I want to give very big shout outs to null C disrupt also giving a distant counter, which Garen appreciates should you want to run Breath of Blight with distant counter, which is amazing because it makes him a no weakness unit. Bonus doubler dragons are really good because of lightning breath giving you DC, and they're a decent option should you not run into their counters. The reason why Na and Garen suffer a little bit is not only because of Mystic Boost, but because of Ophelia being a very common nuke. So if you actually look at a beefed up Na, she's very, very, very similar to Garen, having pretty much trading a few stats here and there. But the biggest difference is, of course, that Garen is easily mergeable through grails and at your own pace rather than spending thousands of orbs for Na. I'm not even going to mention Oracle Breath because I don't feel like that breath is very good for anything really, and the best way to use these dragons is going to be with Lightning Breath bonus doubler. It's just the best way to do it. They are hard countered by many things. Dragon slaying, daggers especially, Mystic Boost and Panic. These are all weaknesses, and that's generally why you wouldn't want to invest or use a dragon. But beyond that, if you're going to do it, this is how you do it, similar to how Noe or Fae would be used. Yeah, Na is not so impressive. Garen is a thing, and of course, if you already have an invested Tiki, Tiki can also do a similar job, especially once merges, and the flowers go up to 10 for them, whereas with Na, it only goes up to 5. So you have a very similar investment in that regard. Na is overall kind of a... Well, should you pull for Na? Nah. That's how I think. That's how I think the best way for me to describe it is. Okay, moving on. We got Brady. So Brady is nothing. I honestly, the most interesting healer we had recently released might have been Spring Bruno, just for having a completely dynamically different stat spread from all this other copy paste we see. Brady is pretty much just a slightly better Lucius and Sarah in the 3 and 4 star pool. So I don't look at the 5-star exclusives, just to clarify. So you have a very similar unit that way, but he's 5-star locked. Yes, if Brady gets demoted, then he'll be one of the better units to merge up when it comes to the infantry healers, because he's got a more offensive stat spread. But as it stands, and we assume that he's a 5-star exclusive, this is not that much more impressive than someone like Lucius or Sarah, who are very comparable in terms of attack and speed with just a couple points less. If you're going to use an infantry healer and AR, I highly recommend using them as close counter advantage with Savage Blows, some Dancers, Pain. Restore can set up miracles, and that's one way to do it. They do this job pretty well. It's like a colorless mage. They don't really suffer against anything except Mystic Boost, which is why if you're going to use one, Astra is the place to be, so you less commonly see air with Mystic Boost. They do have other counters as well, just high res stuff can just kill them, but if you're going to use it, this is how you do it. Same idea with Brady. He's got a little bit more attack, but again, merges is the biggest factor here. It's easier to get a highly merged Lucius, for instance, than it is a highly merged Brady, and because of that small difference, it's not really worth, investing into or using Brady. Unless he gets demoted, then it's a different story. But we all know how Mikoto turned out. So yeah, okay. Next up is Yarne, and I am actually quite impressed with Yarne. I mentioned this in my impressions. This is Gale Force and rolls done correctly. Good attack and speed. Attack is needed to proc Heavy Blade, and his whole kit is based around this whole Gale Force shenanigans with cooldown reduction, good attack, speed, defense, and just good overall. Good base kit. Like, this is why I'm just going to show you. If you're going to run Yarne, you don't even need to change or reinvent the wheel, because he's good to go pretty much out of the box, and he's going to be able to do that without even needing merges, which makes him a very good unit as just one-off if you happen to get him. Being green is also a nice benefit. If you free summon him off a ticket, well, you can put him to good use if you don't have a green. Now, I mentioned this earlier, Astral Blessing is more desirable than Light Blessing, because Astral Blessing is running with dragons, and dragons can not interfere with the transform effects of Yarne, or Pane as another similar comparison. His base kit is fine, you don't really need to change anything. Okay, so if you're gonna look at other green calves, especially those that are not beasts, because we don't have any free options, there is Wallheart on the left, and no, I'm not memeing with the build on the left. I swear it does work. I haven't seen it yet, but I know people who have done it. So that's good enough for me to know that it does work. Wolfberg gives speed, so 33 speed. Darting Blow gives 6, 39. Okay. Hone Cav, 45 speed. Wallheart has a good attack stat. Will proc Heavy Blade. It's not a meme. It does actually work. You don't necessarily need to use Pass there. You could probably use Wings of Mercy. I don't really feel like Wings is too good because it would counteract with Wolfberg, but you never know. Escape Route if he attacks into something that retaliates, or just lunge or drag back, or hit and run are all also good alternatives for this. The B slot generally is open, so you could honestly keep chill defense there or chill speed, although you'd run into more of a one-shot problem in that case. Another option for green cav is Marth being extremely fast for it. Unlike Titania, who has a pretty low attack stat, Marth is a little bit more reliable when it comes to heavy blade checks. So if you give somebody attack speed solo and you want a Gale Force unit, Marth does it pretty well. He's just solid. He's also more consistent, not relying on retaliations, which both Yarne and Walhart will need to consistently proc their Gale Force. For instance, Bunny Fang isn't going to put you under 75% health. Even with Fury, it doesn't work unless someone hits him back. So that's the inconsistency that comes from Walhart or Yarne, or unless you use like Heavy Blade QP, but if you run that combination, you also give up consistency when it comes to attack and speed, whereas Marth can just use Slaying Axe and have a good speed stat and attack stat overall to proc that far more consistently. Okay. Next up is Kjelle. Now, I wasn't really expecting much out of Kjelle, but it's not so bad. She's better Effie. More res, and more res is good. High attack stat. Yeah, just solid unit. I mean, there's not much to say here. Just Effie and Kjelle, we're both going to run very similar builds. If you use armors and AR, they want to be running this really, really high investment build, but this is how you make them work. With Special Fighter being here, you get your noontime on every single engagement that a unit hits you, and Casablanca prevents the enemies from getting buffs, especially after rally traps, like Legendary Azura dancing like, let's say, a Nino. It becomes much less threatening when you use Casablanca. So that's why Special Fighter is used here. Now, you don't necessarily have to use Quick Work Post. This is kind of just a tech option against units that might be running like Sturdy Impact or Airs with like Lifyaberg. It does become a speed check, so it becomes still pretty hard to win it, but you know, with proper buffs, it's not so difficult. I mean, Corin with Drive Speeds or Cadence and Hone Attack 4, Legendary Azura Prayer Wheels, these tanks do reach about 30-40 speed, so they don't lose all their speed checks. Yeah, and if you don't run Casablanca, you could also consider Harmonic Lance, but, you know, getting one shot by, like, Nino is not very fun, considering they're blue, so... Res tends to be their biggest weakness, that's why I've considered Light Blessings here. All the buffs you see are with either Light or Astra, using 2 Nagas or 2 Airs to provide the extra stats. Summoner support is used when the unit is a tank. You don't really want to give summoner support to like Gale Force units or close counter Vantage units. That's why you didn't see it earlier in the Gale Force units. But tanks want all the stats they can get through HP, res, speed, whatever, defense, attack. All those stats are desirable on tanks, so that's why you see summoner support here. Okay. And finally, probably another meme. Do I even need to go over this? It's been like so many videos. Okay, here's Cynthia. She pretty much looks like another copy-paste Blue Lance flyer. She is Shigure with like 1 less attack and 1 less speed. I don't know, something similar to that. Here's a build you can do with her. Here's Shanna. Shanna's better. Here's Shanna again. Shanna's better. And here's Katria. Katria's better. If you run Gale Force, even Claire does it pretty well, but I'm not going to bother going through that. Honestly, Shanna with Shanna's Lance makes her really good because of the extra damage, noontime healing on every single engagement. The thing that Cynthia or any other Blue Lance flyer might want to run as a tank would be Casablanca, and that's pretty good. But this sort of investment on a Blue Lance flyer that's pretty much just Shigure or, I don't know, Volter, like, it doesn't have to be Volter. You can literally choose anyone else and they are better, so you don't spend a billion grails to do this. You could literally just use Shanna with Casablanca and still be fine. So I'm not going to go over this too much, but there's so many other Blue Lance flyers in the game that Cynthia does not bring anything new to the table and is pretty much speed, defense, link fodder. And Fire Sleep Lance fodder, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a broken record at this point. Let's go back into the mathematics here. So if you're not familiar with this, 4-person banners are not desirable when it comes to targeting specific units because they cost a higher amount of orbs to pull per copy. This means that especially with someone like Na, who takes an average of 173 orbs, that's a lot more orbs than, let's say, Na showing up in the future on a 2-3 person or Hero Fest or something like that, where you get much more value for your orbs. Also, with legendary banners and mythic banners, they share with legendary and mythic heroes who tend to have very good fodder, and they could pity break you and you add merges that way. So generally waiting or being patient, if you like these units, tends to be really good because you can pick up so much more value for your orbs that way. However, if you go for free summon tickets and whatever, someone like Yarne or Na are pretty good here because they have bonus doubler. Yarne having attack speed solo, for instance, is still very good on a lot of units. So green being the lowest cost per orbs means that if you go with free summon tickets on green here, you have a decent chance of picking up Yarne within less than like 50-70 orbs spent, whereas now will take a lot more. So you can make those sort of decisions to kind of gauge at where you want to spend fodder or take a risk on someone like Na. But personally, my opinion on this is nah. Okay, so that pretty much covers our unit analysis and comparisons for this time. Thank you so much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Please let me know in the comments below what unit you may be looking forward to, maybe getting in the future, or anyone else from the Awakening or Fate series. I'd like to hear if anyone has any that they're still looking forward to getting released. Did Lawrence get wrecked too badly? Are you still waiting for Charlotte? Whatever. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.